So yesterday I uploaded my video of the best movies of 2023. Now I've got to do a worst list. Well, I feel like I need to and I want to as well. Because these movies are the bad movies that I highly recommend you do not see. Now coming in at number 5 is a movie that I don't think is absolutely terrible. I was a bit too critical of the grade that I gave it in my review. But that film is The Marvels. The Marvels has got some entertainment in it, it's got some merits to it, but it's a bit of a mess. The story isn't structured very well, and it feels as though it's a film that came after a film that we didn't see. The villain's this character whose country had a civil war. We never saw the civil war. Captain Marvel became the princess in this land where people sing. We never know how she became a princess. She never explained it. It came across as lazy storylining. Marvel has not done a great job in 2023. They've done it again. At number 4, we've got another Marvel film in this list, and that is Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. The film leaves out the best character in the Ant-Man series, Lewis. Lewis was a character that I loved in the first 2 Ant-Man movies. He's just so funny, and it's so sad to see that he's been left out of Quantumania. He really should have been in this film. This film is so large scale, when the other Ant-Man films were small scale. I wish this film was small scale like the first 2 Ant-Man films. I wish this film felt like the first 2 Ant-Man films. Some of the CGI is a bit off. I mean, look at MODOK. He's like the most ugliest MCU villain I've ever seen. One of the most ugliest villains I've ever seen. He's so ugly. What were Marvel thinking putting him in a movie? Such a terrible idea. And also, Ant-Man's powers in the quantum realm are barely used. He barely shrinks, so his powers feel useless. And it feels like there's just this guy who's been chucked into the quantum realm. Number 3 and number 2 I've been tossing around a fair bit. But then I thought about this. If I was going to die unless I watched one of these 2 films, which one would I pick? And the film I would pick to watch is Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Now this film I haven't posted a full-length review on, so here's my thoughts on the film. Now the de-aging is very impressive for Harrison Ford. The de-aging looks amazing. And the production design looks amazing. There's a great scene with him and a horse. That stunt was done really well. I really liked that stunt. But overall, this movie was such a disappointment. Phoebe Waller-Bridge's character was so annoying. She really annoyed me, and I didn't really like her character. And the character of Teddy, wasn't in love with his character, I'll say that. I just wasn't in love with the story that they were trying to tell. Why make a film about 80-year-old Indiana Jones and spend $300 million on it, Disney? Why? Why did you do that? What a waste of money. Why not spend $100 million in the film? So that way you'd break even. Instead, they spent $300 million in the film. The film has been a huge box office bomb. And the film isn't very good, unfortunately. And I hate the ending. I hate the ending with a passion. The ending is just so wrong. And if you've seen the movie, you'll know what I'm talking about. Because I really dislike that ending. That ending works me up. And just for the record, number 2 is a movie that I actually gave a positive grade to in my review of the movie. I gave the film a B-. If I was to review the film again, I would definitely go negative in this film. Because the more I thought about this film, the more I disliked it. And the more I thought about this film, I realised it wasn't very entertaining at all. It could have been a lot more entertaining. It is very well made though, I will say that. And that film is Missing. Missing is a film that everybody seems to have liked but me. Very high score on Rotten Tomatoes, but I just didn't really enjoy this film. This film wasn't made for me, I didn't really like it. I hated the ending of the film. And morally, this film feels kind of messed up. My number 1 best movie of the year was not something I had to overthink. My number 1 best movie of the year was practically certain. I knew that movie would be number 1 after seeing it. And it stayed number 1. The number one worst movie of the year I knew would be number one unless I watched something really, really bad. And number one is Shazam! Fury of the Gods. I'm sure it would have been Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, Exorcist Believer, Meg 2 if I had seen any of those films, but I heard those films were garbage, so why would I have wasted my time seeing stuff worse than Shazam! Fury of the Gods? Shazam! Fury of the Gods was bad enough. I did not need to put myself through more bad stuff. So I'm glad I skipped out on those bad films, but I'm sure that Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey would have been my number one pick, but I am never going to watch that film because I love Winnie the Pooh and I hate how that film has been turned into a slasher. I am just never watching that film. But anyway, Shazam! Fury of the Gods is the worst movie of the year that I saw. This movie is just so unfocused. It's filled with great ideas. It's got so much potential. The ending of the film they even mess up. I don't understand why they mess it up. Well, I kind of do, but I'll talk about that later in a video I'm making called Let's Save Cinema, which this film is going to be referenced in. You'll learn about why I have an issue with the ending there, but for the meantime, I'm not going to talk about it here because it's a spoiler. This film was very unfocused, filled with so much potential. I just dislike it. It was lame. It couldn't get my attention. Some of the CGI. I just didn't like this film. I didn't like the character of Shazam. I just had so many issues with this film, and it could not hold my attention. Just please don't see this film. And maybe it's for the better that the DCEU is getting rebooted and we're getting the DCU. I'm excited to see the DCU. Let's hope that is better. Shazam! Fury of the Gods sucks, and it's the only movie that I really, really disliked. And for the record, I gave this film a C- when I reviewed it. I need to re-rate it. I think I'd go with either a D+ or a D. I'd have to rewatch the film, which I'm not gonna do, because the film was that bad. Don't see this film. It's not worth your time. It's not worth your money. I'm so glad I did not watch this in a theatre because I would have felt ripped off. Thank you so much for supporting me throughout 2023. And let's look forward to 2024. There's going to be loads of great content coming. And soon I'm going to give you what my picks are for the most anticipated movies of 2024. Thank you so much for watching. And I'm the Grinning Critic. And don't forget to subscribe to me.